right, YouTube, how y'all doing today? It is Combat Esports Media. It is Jamie Man.
And it's not King Juice, it's actually Dark Side.
And am I supposed to introduce myself?
Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
Okay,
go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
Boxing Fanatico
Yes, sir.
of the YouTube channel Boxing Fanatico.
And we are back here today with another community spotlight interview. So let's get right into it, man. Fanatico, I want to ask you because I know you've mentioned multiple times that you've had a channel before the Boxing Fanatico channel. So how did you actually transition over from one channel to the next for the YouTube career?
Well, I mean, my YouTube career it's been like 6 years, really 6 or 7 years. Started back in 2016. I might be off with how long it is, but I think it started back in 2016 for sure, in January, but it was with a different channel. In September of 2016 is when I started Boxing Fanatico, believe it or not. So it literally took Boxing Fanatico until 2020 to get any sort of traction whatsoever. So just in case anybody ever thinks like, their channel's not, gonna pop and nothing's happening, it just takes being at the right place at the right time and talking about the right thing in the right way that it just could, take you off. And so my transition really, like for a lot of people, when they saw Boxing Fanatico for the first time, they felt that there was like a certain level of quality with the camera and the lighting and everything like that. But really, if you truly saw my first YouTube video, like the way I was talking on camera, the things I was doing with my camera, you would see that it's like night and day. It's night and day. I literally was just recording with my cell phone in a car, my fitness videos, because that's what my other channel's about. And but through learning that, I brought that into Boxing Fanatico, and that's the reason why it seems somewhat polished in the beginning when people first started seeing me. But it wasn't like I just got all this equipment, like, hey, I'm just gonna go get all this equipment and start making YouTube videos. I bought the equipment little by little over time because of my other channel. So yeah, that was basically it. I have a fitness channel. I love boxing, so I wanted to have a boxing channel. It was strictly dedicated to boxing content. It was just me trying to it was really a channel to open the doors for people who were timid into going into boxing, kind of were like intimidated by the whole, concept of boxing and how it's heavy gatekeeping in the boxing world. So I kind of wanted to open those doors. And I have some videos that did okay, where I'm talking about the rules of boxing, how boxing fights are scored, those kind of opening the door kind of videos to help people come into the community. But yeah, I talked about ESBC, I talked about boxing video games. And ever since then, that's all she wrote. Kept going.
Yeah, facts. And actually, I'm glad Jay actually mentioned that, because something I want to touch on too. Because as far as I'm concerned, like as far as people in the community, I always say like, as far as like production and quality goes, is like quality value, you probably have in my opinion like the best in the community as far as I can tell. Like some of your like especially like your voiceovers and things like that, it gives like that movie type of quality almost.
Well,
which actually leads to me. Go ahead.
A lot of people don't know, but from my other channel, and my other channel has almost about 300,000 subscribers, just so you guys are aware. But from my other channel, one of my video essays that I did was nominated for Best Documentary Short by Artemis Motion Pictures. And I was the one that wrote it. I narrated it. I directed it. I did have somebody edit it, but I did the voiceover and everything for it. So yeah, I've been doing that stuff, that voiceover stuff, that kind of video essay style, that documentary style. I've been doing it for years. I'm just now starting to throw it into Boxing Fanatico, figuring out ways to do it where it makes sense.
Yeah, and to go along with that too, I was gonna say one of the first videos I actually saw from your channel was actually before I even realized you were covering ESBC. I actually didn't realize it was you who had made the video until I restarted following you again when you started making ESBC content. It was actually the Floyd Mayweather video essay that you did. That was extremely popular. I actually watched that a long while ago, and just like I guess like how did you like because as far as like the knowledge as far as like knowledge goes and like the analytics and stuff like on the YouTube side and things like that, like you know like a lot you're real deep into like the analytics and like what works and what doesn't work. How did you kind of like get that type of knowledge and like figure out like what works best and like different types of channels and things like that?
That just came over time. That I started realizing certain patterns and certain trends, and when you do it all the time, especially with my fitness channel, I've put out at least 2 videos every week for the entire time until up till this moment. I still do that. So throughout all of that, all those videos that you upload, you're gonna just start to see patterns and see things working. And I'm a huge analytics guy. Even before I started YouTube, I was a front office manager for hotels. The Dream Hotel. I'll say it here. It doesn't matter. The Dream Hotel here in Miami. I was the front office manager there, and even that there, I'm like super big in analytics. And it's like, well, how could you be big in analytics and hotel stuff? And it's like I'll look at reviews and how people are talking about the hotel and do things to make the hotel, the service scores improve and things like of that nature. So, and analytics has always been my thing, my favorite thing to focus on. And when you actually focus on it and you implement strategies and you see them like work, it almost feels magical, but it also feels like you could tame it. Like there's a way to control the chaos of the huge world of the internet, especially with YouTube. And there's certain things that I've done that work. I mean, even when I had no views, when no one was watching my channel, my Floyd Mayweather video, like what you just referenced, still did well in that space.
Mhm.
And that's all from understanding, the title, how to title it, what to do, how to start it, how to keep people engaged at certain points. And yeah, so to me, analytics is 100% my guiding, like my number one guiding light. Obviously, the personal experience matters, is 100% super important. What people say in the comment section and stuff like that, I take all of that to heart, and I work off of those things. But really, the analytics drives the success. If you just go by like the interactions that happen with the viewers, you're going. It's not to say that it's like an amateur style, but it is not, as you're not working at the most optimal highest level. But when you combine both of those, when you combine like the audience experience, the interaction, and the analytics, it's like you morph into like the most powerful, that you could be when you're doing these type of content.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point because when we talked the study on Sunday, I kind of mentioned that I don't know like how Dark and you Fanatico, like when I first started out, I was kind of like how you said, I was just happy to get interactions. I was just like, I don't care about numbers and views. Now I'm not gonna lie, now I'm not gonna say like I'm still solely focused on it, but it's almost like a balance, if that makes sense. I'm not like so focused on it to the point where it's like making me crazy, like, oh my goodness, I have to check it every day, every week. It's not like nothing like that, but it works hand in hand. And I want to ask you, because study says something, is a certain level of uniqueness, does that matter to play into those analytics and things like that, like being yourself, like the things you do with the narration and things like that? Do things like that matter?
I mean, what it does separate you. Like when the audience arrives, it separates you to a certain extent, right? Like if they show up to my thing and then it's like, oh, the story of this lost boxing game, and I already know that there's people that care about boxing games. They see that and they're like, wow, this was a really fun crafted story that had nice little ebbs and flows and a good ending, at like a good twist at the end. It was orchestrated almost like a movie with a 3-act structure and even a twist at the end. that could be like, wow, this is so different that I truly enjoy this. But I don't know if being super like unique is more important than being first for certain things, and also just being consistent to a certain extent. Um, I wouldn't even say that my content, other than those kind of like off the wall stuff that I do, is like super unique. Like my first content that I did that actually really started taking off with ESBC was when I started talking about ESBC. But I didn't do anything crazy. Like I didn't do anything, like I didn't add anything to it that did something that made it different. It was just me sitting down talking. But I think that my timing was good and my follow-ups were good. So like once I knew, oh, this clicked with whoever, you know, I got 1,000 views when I used to get 60 views. Something's here. So if I keep talking about this, like since people already arrived, that means that the algorithm is working in my favor for this specific topic. If I keep talking about this, if I stay consistent, if I try to stay on top of the news when it comes out, if I do those kind of things, then it starts to just build this like view of my channel to my audience as a person who's a kind of like an authority figure in the space. And it's not from me being like, oh, I'm doing this creative thing that nobody did, like that nobody's doing. It's not really about me doing that. Even in my fitness channel is the same thing. In my fitness channel, I grew it to, you know, I got my plaque right there for 100,000 subscribers, and I didn't do anything super out of the ordinary. Like I talk about scientific studies. That's the main thing. Like that, you think about that, and it's like that sounds boring. And I somehow got that up to 280,000 subscribers,
Right.
and it was just simply from being there at the right time, looking at the patterns, seeing what my audience wanted in terms of what the analytics is telling me, what the interactions are telling me. I do understand that if you are creative and unique, you may be able to get something out of that. But I don't think that that's 100% necessary. I think that there's more ways. There's more ways to enter the house, basically. Like you could go through the front door, through the side door, through the back door, and certain things will work. There's never a hard line, hard, fast rule in on YouTube, I don't think. Because like I said, both of my channels, and I've put even videos when I was younger, like earlier in YouTube, that got up to 100,000 views that I've taken down. Wasn't anything unique, anything crazy. I think it's just timing and consistency. I think that's just from my experience. But like I said, the creativity, you can't dismiss it, but I don't think that it's a critical factor to being successful.
Mm-hmm. And before dog goes, I want to say this. I know a lot of y'all think it's like, oh, Fanatico, he's the boxing guy. He doesn't know analytics. I won't tell y'all this. All right, secret. I saw Poe put up something on Twitter about his intro, and then Fanatico said something. He was like, "Well, actually, Poe, YouTube analytics saying that 3 to 5 second intros." I was like, that's interesting. And then talking to some other content creators, I was like, I mentioned it. I didn't say Fanatical. So I just mentioned. I was like, making a short, because my intro was like 13 seconds. My intro was like super long. I was like, you think cutting down my intro would be like a good idea? Like, I know some of the people that have intros. I was like, you ever thought about cutting down your intro? It was like, no. I mean, the intro, it looks cool. I was like, damn, wait, hold on. So I was like, let me cut it down. I want to say this now, and I want to thank Fanatico. Actually, my click-through rate and my average watch time, it like skyrocketed. Literally, the very first video I did when I changed, it just skyrocketed. I was like, oh my goodness, just off of that one small thing. So I'm like, y'all take that advice,
Yeah,
take it.
Because the way the algorithm works is like, if, for example, there's a huge drop off in the beginning, what happens is that the serving of to other people reduces simply just off of that, because it's a computer. It's not like a human that could look at it and like overseeing YouTube and say, well, they're just clicking off because of weird reasons. So we're probably gonna no, they're just gonna be like, wait, 40% clicked off right at the beginning. They don't know that your intro's long or whatever. They're just saying this data right here, this data point is telling me that this is not a video that people are going to like. So let's serve it to less people. And instead of getting served to 10,000 people, now you're getting served to 5,000 people. So that's 5,000 people that could or could not click on your video. But if you get 10,000 people, you get a bigger pool of people that might click on your video. So those kind of things are super important. You can see them in your analytics. You can see the drop off rate. It shows it to you, how many people drop off in the beginning. And just look at your videos with the long intro versus your videos with the short intro. You'll see like a smaller drop off rate because you're going right into the talking point. And that helps serve you. The more you get served, the more chances you get to get clicks to be viewed.
I'm glad Jay mentioned that. You're talking about short intro. After I saw Fanatico say that, I cut the intro. I don't even got the intro no more. I dropped it.
I had my intro and I dropped my intro, and y'all can literally see the difference in my videos from the moment I had my intro. If you go back and look at it, look at the intro videos and what the views were for that, and then look at the videos after I dropped my intro completely. I completely dropped it. I just go right into, I say, yo, we're gonna talk about it. Woo! It's like a quick transition, goes right into the talking point. And if you see, now I'm doing like consistently 10 to 20K. I could do like 10 to 20K views, when before I was doing like, 6K, I could get to 10K, and I was, enjoying that. I was fine. But now, like, just quick to the video is getting me much more traction because there's even less time that they have. And my intro wasn't even long, and there's even less time that they have to deal with waiting for me to start talking.
Facts. So I guess now we can go ahead and transition to the juicy topic. The topic that everyone wants to talk about, of course, which is ESBC, of course, which I think now this is funny to me because we talked to a study already, and we're going to be talking to Juice here soon, which is actually great that we got you on.
I should have brought my card.
I knew it. So we're gonna be talking to your grand finale opponent coming up here soon as well. Now, I thought to say about how he felt when he went to the UK studio. Of course, he's gonna have a different experience than you, who got to go. You guys were on the US side. How was that experience? Going out there, getting invited to the creator event for ESBC and playing it with the different content creators out there.
It was beautiful, bro. It was it was so perfect, bro. Like, it was everything that I thought it was gonna be. Like, everybody was who I expected them to be, which was very crazy. Like, showbiz is showbiz. He's really crazy like that. Like, he's really like hyper and excited all the time. So, and King Juice is like, has that like dark humor, that dry humor that he be having, and it's just like that. And, Coach has that maturity that you get from the like on screen. He actually has that like with him when we were there, and it was a blast. Like, it was surreal, bro. When we walked into the house and we saw all the ESBC stuff, and then they were like, "Oh, all right, time to go upstairs." And then we see the ESBC like goodie bag, and then there was like stuff inside of it. And then we were playing, and all of a sudden it's like, "Yo, we got to do the Zoom call," and it's like Ash, and we see Study and Concept Reese, and we're in like this home theater center that Rax. Because Rax is living good, man. Got the home theater, everything. So we're just there looking, and it's like, damn, this is crazy. Then it's like, oh, there's a tournament, and if you win the tournament, you win this rare card. Only 6 have ever been made in the world. It was signed by Muhammad Ali on the card. It's like, yo, this is like mental overload. And then the next day comes, and it's like, all right, cool. We about to do the tournament, but before we do that, we got some special guests coming in, and it's like Todd Grisham walking in, like Sergio Mora walking in, Shawn Porter. Like, it was literally like the craziest experience I've ever had in any trip. And the cool thing is like it was all expense paid, so it was like there was nothing you had to think about. It was just all brought to you. And it just, I don't know, man, it was such a great experience. And then to top it off, of course, we got to finally play a game that we've been like talking about for so long. And to actually play it and to see that, oh, damn, this is what it really is. Like, this is how it plays. It felt so good. So I don't know, the whole experience was it was like out of this world. It's never been replicated in my mind and in my experience before. And I've gone to certain things, I've done things, but that was one of the things that will always, like, I'll always remember. It was always going to be one of my greatest moments.
Yeah, and touching on the Shawn Porter thing, because I don't know if it was you or Coach that posted the link to the podcast, the episode that they had after when Shawn was in the airport or whatever. And then is it Shawn, the dude who runs Fight Hype? He does like the videos for
I
Fight
forget
Hype.
his name. It's
Yeah.
the white
Shawn,
dude with the
Shawn
Shawn.
Zaito.
Yeah.
Zaito.
Yeah.
him.
And then like Shawn is he's trying to remember y'all names, and Shawn's like boxing, and then and then the white Shawn, he goes, "Oh, boxing Fanatico. Oh yeah, I know."
Yeah.
How cool was that to hear somebody,
Yo, that's the thing that's like, sometimes when I hear these guys, like even Sonny Edwards, like I'm getting used to Sonny Edwards, but just to hear Sonny Edwards be like, "Yo, I watch all your videos," it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I really wanted to be part of this boxing world. And I never, like, I when I was younger, I actually wrote an article to Fight Hype. Like, but this was back in like 2003 or 2004. I wrote an article to Fight Hype to be one of their writers, and I got turned down. And like, this is how long I've been trying to be involved with boxing. So I did it in a weird way. Like, it's through, video games, which is perfectly fine with me, because that's my other passion, that's my other love. I love boxing, I love video games, and I love boxing video games more than anything. So it's like, kind of like in a roundabout way, I'm getting connected with these guys little by little. Todd Grisham, hung out with Todd Grisham like twice already, so I'm getting connected with these guys little by little. So to see them just there and be like, "Oh, that's Boxing Fanatico, that's who you talking about," it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I was already at the top of his head. He already knew. That to me told me he's seen at least 5 or 6 videos already of my channel. So to me, it's just it's very powerful, because it validates like the kind of the hard work. And like I said, since 2003, I've been doing little things to try to get involved in the sport of boxing in a bigger like way. So just to see that people are recognizing Boxing Fanatico as a thing is touching, and I love it. So to see Shawn talk about it, and to see them just say my name like that and have it on the podcast, that felt good for sure.
Facts. Now, talking about the glorious spot of the event, let's talk about the first day, which was highly talked about.
Yeah.
I think many people were probably shocked when they actually like heard about it, because I think a lot of people thought, like, of the 6 people going, like, you're probably going to be like probably the best out of the bunch. I would say probably was the general consensus. I would say most people have you like going to be the best out of the bunch. But talk about your first experience, your first day playing ESBC. Because as pretty much everybody talked about, like, you probably everyone said you struggled the most during the first day during ESBC, but eventually you were able to adjust to the game and kind of obviously you were able to win against Juice in the final to get the card. But talk about your experience and going from like the beginning when you first started playing to kind of how you got over that hump.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the funny thing is, like, I'm very, very super competitive, right? Like, I'm like, that's like in my core. Like, I want to win every single time I play. It doesn't matter what game I'm playing. I always want to win. But the funny thing is, I never actually, like, myself said that I was gonna go and dominate, or nor did I say, like, when the game comes out that I was gonna be the best. All I said was I'm gonna do my best. But I think that there was an aura placed around me, and people just like, "Nah, you gotta win. You better win. You the guy that's gonna win." So I was like, "Hey, I'll ride with it." Of course, I felt that pressure too. So when I got there, I had like confidence, but I do know that with me, I'm not really that good at a game right in the beginning. I'm not, because my thing comes from adaptability as opposed to just like natural talent. I don't think I'm naturally good, like just naturally good at a game. I think that I am very good at understanding a game and understanding what I need to do inside of a game. And I think that's what helps take me far. And and I've mentioned this before, but just in case, like, if people didn't know, like, I've been in competitions, I've been on stage, I've played, for like Xbox competition with Herb Dean and all those guys there, an announcer and an audience and stuff like that. But it comes from like my wife could tell you, it's like me doing a thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like, I don't just like pick it up and I have this natural ability. So I kind of figured, okay, I'm good in boxing games just off of the base level of boxing games. So hopefully I'll be good enough here. That was not the case, man. That was not the case. When I got there, man, my first fight was with Showbiz the adult, because we had to do the whole first fight thing because it was like the big trash talk back and forth. So I did my fight with Showbiz. I thought I won, but the scorecards came out and he destroyed me. But that was the first instance where it was like, huh, it's a little different. It's a little different than fight night. Like, it started clicking because I was fighting in a way where I know I could get the points on fight night. And that's obviously attacking the head more, using more power shots to the head. While Showbiz was very, very like, he it was almost like 50-50. Like, half of his shots went to my body, half of his shots went to my head. And he had more shots overall, but I thought, since I hit the head more, I'll win it. He ended up winning it. And one of the biggest things that messed me up when it came to fight night was the whole blocking, the way the blocking works, because the way Fight Night Round 3 works, and I know you probably know this, Dark Side. I don't know if, Jay, you've played Fight Night Round 3, but the way Fight Night Round 3 works is you press the block button, but you don't block if you press the block button. You have to press up to make it go up, or you have to press down to make it go down, or left, right to, catch the points for the counter. The difference here, though, is that you press the block button and he does block. So that trips you up because you're like, oh, he's blocking, but your body is not protected. So when your reflexes, you know that these games is millimeters sometimes when you're playing. So somebody's coming at you, you reflexively press it. You see that you're blocking. You feel like you're blocking totally, like you are in Fight Night Champion. But no, they hit you in the body. And then on top of that, the game had the exploit of the body shot. So it's like, because I'm blocking and I'm forgetting that, I got to move the analog down. It started becoming super frustrating because people like King Juice and Showbiz, not so much Coach, but King Juice and Showbiz were super aggressive fighters that went for the body, and the body had it was broken. It was broken. So once they got me all, hurt, there was really nothing that I could do. So I spent that whole first day just troubleshooting, calibrating, trying to really figure out what do I do to stop this? I have to remember to press down on the analog. So there was a lot of games for me after the beginning, because I was really trying in the beginning when I didn't know really what to do. But after that, I stopped trying. I was like, I'm not going to try to win. Like, I could tell that they were playing to win, but I stopped playing to win. Like, I think after my 5th game or 6th game, I was like, I'm not going to play to win because I know there's a tournament tomorrow. All I'm going to do is play to troubleshoot. That's it. So I would do things and they'll win. But I'm like, I stopped that and I'll do something else. And they'll win. And I'm like, oh, I stopped something else. And I started figuring out little things, but like sacrificing myself almost, but just to figure out ways to stop the things that they were doing. And then once I figured that out, or like the end of day 1, that's when I started dominating. Like, the narrative is really like to a lot of people, because people stop tweeting after a certain time. But really after, like, we were there till 10 o'clock at night. After like 8 o'clock, there was nobody that was beating me. I was smoking dudes after 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, it was all like, that's why if you watch my mega vlog after, like, I'm talking and I'm in the hotel, I'm very confident, even though like it wouldn't even make sense. Like, people be like, yo, didn't you like lose all these fights? But I'm super confident, like, nah, I feel like I could win this this tournament, and it was because of the fact that I figured out certain things and I understood what I was doing, and then I started playing to win, and all of the stuff that I put together worked. So then we went to the tournament, and of course, me and Coach's Corner, we had our fight, and people like Todd Grisham said our fight was boring, right? He was sitting there like, "Oh, this is a boring fight." That was one of my favorite fights because me and Coach was like trying to one up each other the entire time. Like we were fighting like inches and trying to figure things out and do little things to kind of outsmart the other person and not give in to the other person's traps. So I love that fight. When I fought King Juice literally was like, "I'm going for the exploit because I want I want to win and I want the card." So I was like, "Damn, bro." I actually was supposed to lose that fight with King Juice, but I did like this like unprecedented thing because up until that moment, no one had ever won while being on what we coined it one tap, where if your body got red, which would take like maybe 6 hits, like that's it, 6 power hits. If he got red, if he tapped you, he could just jab you there and you're gonna fall. So it's like he got me to that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a win." So what I would do is I would just basically be on my super bicycle, and like if he tried to get close, I would either block the body because I knew that he was so frustrated. That's what he wanted. I would block the body and then hit him with a combination and then get away. And if I dropped him, it was a wrap. I'm like, "Psh, you already know I'm running the whole round. I'm running the whole round." So he would get up and I'll just run and I know that I got the round locked in. So that's basically what I was doing. And I overcame the one tap. And then I realized, I'm like, that's the last thing I got to take away from these guys. I got to take that one tap away from them. So what I ended up doing after that, after I won that tournament, I made sure to hit their body first, and I would get their body on yellow before they even got my body to any color, and then I would box them. And if they try to get my body to yellow, I would get their body to red, and then I will box them. So it's like you could try to one tap me, but I'm gonna make sure that if you're going for that, I flanked you. I did it first. So that's basically why I didn't lose at all on day 2, because I even took that away from them at that point when I realized, like, oh my God, I almost lost, this card or whatever. That was the strategy that I implemented for that exploit that was in the game. But yep, that was the story.
Interesting. And this is gonna be my last question for you. It's kind of it's 2 questions. I'm lying.
Go ahead.
The first question, with the criticism of ESBC, I know. Boy, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna save it. No. Actually, I'm gonna say it. You did that video on that flicker jab that had a lot of people, up in arms and stuff. So, but you've also had your fair criticism, of the game. That's one of the main things. A lot of people, they don't see. They see someone. They see someone, bringing out ESBC content, and they don't see like the critiques. They just see the good things. Oh, he's on a payroll. He's a fanboy. But the criticism that you've been seeing, other people give from other communities or like other gamers or other channels and stuff. How do you see that? Is it fair to you, or is it just like, it's like, I don't care?
Is it fair that their other channels are criticizing the game?
Do you think the criticism that they're giving is somewhat fair in the sense to what you've been doing, how you've been, breaking it down? Okay, they're doing this wrong, they can do this better, opposed to, oh my goodness, these punches, they suck, oh my god, well, Fight Night does this, well, why are you not, that type of criticism? Do you think that's sort of fair to compare to ESBC?
I mean, I think that all of that stuff will always be inevitable. There's always gonna be communities, and unfortunately, a rift has been created with people that like Fight Night versus, ESBC. There is a Fight Night versus ESBC rift that, in a way, I wish didn't exist, just because it blinds a lot of people to certain things. Like, I could talk about any game now that has boxing, and it's like those punches are going to be better than ESBC to these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about that new boxing game, the Bloody Knuckles boxing. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
With the with the
Yeah.
sole developer, with the one developer guy, and I love that game. I think it's awesome. I think he has so many good things coming out of that game, but there's people that's like, oh, this is blowing ESBC out of the water and stuff like that. And it's like they're in completely different places. Like ESBC has a team and everything and all this stuff, and this is just one guy. But it comes from that, like, there's anger towards ESBC, which I think that some of the anger is misplaced. Like, people think that it's taking too long to come out when in reality it's only really been like 2 years and a half. It's just that the way they did things makes it feel longer than what it is. But they just, like, you could see when somebody is being irrational. Like today I got a comment from somebody saying, oh, they're taking so long at this point, I just want fight night. And it's like, how does that even make sense? Like, the mental gymnastics that you have to make to say that is crazy. So you mean to tell me this thing that's been in the making for 2 years and a half is taking so long that I'd rather wait, after waiting 11 years, for hopefully after this game, probably after this game comes out, to get fight night, because I'm just so tired of waiting the 2 years and a half for this game. It's like, come on, bro. Like, we get it. It's fine. Like, Fight Night is a special like brand and a special, series. And there's people that think I hate Fight Night. I don't know where that came from. I really don't, because before I even knew about the Hajime no Ippo games, Fight Night was my favorite boxing game. Fight Night 2004 was one of my favorite. Fight Night Round 3 was one of my favorites. Like, no one could top those to me until, I played the Hajime no Ippo Victorious Boxers. Then the angling and all of that, it has so much that I was like, wait, let me pull back and be objective here. But in terms of my nostalgia and all that stuff and growing up, like, Fight Night is like near and dear to my heart. I love Fight Night. So for people to think that I don't like Fight Night and stuff like that, it's just like this misconception that's going around simply because of the whole rift that has been created. It's like a us versus them kind of mentality. And that's what breeds that kind of like criticism. Like, oh, like, this sucks and this sucks, and no matter what they do, it sucks. And they don't bring out gameplay trailers. They just bring out fighter reveals. Then they bring out gameplay trailers. It's so much gameplay trailers, man. They just need to be giving us the release date. Like, it don't matter what they do. If they say the release date, man, that release date is too far, man. They need to come out with, if they say it quick, oh, that's too close. The punches are not going to be good. So it doesn't matter, like, what they do. They're ready to just pounce on whatever they do because they're just on that, like, us versus them. It's kind of like the same thing with boxing. There's people that no matter what, they're going to just hate Floyd Mayweather. No matter what, they're just going to hate Manny Pacquiao. And it's just going to be like that. And it's going to be like pulling teeth to get them to be like, just step back and just be objective about the stats or the points and stuff. They're not going to care about that. They just have this passion against this person or this passion against that person. I think that's the same thing with ESBC, but that's the case with any game. Every game is going to have that. Do I think it's misplaced? Is their emotional feeling towards the game? I think they're entitled to it, to be honest. I'm just going to always bring my, like, rebuttal. Like, it's sometimes if somebody does a video and it gets a lot of views, like, don't be surprised if I do a rebuttal video to your video if I think that your points were, like, if I don't agree with your points. But it's not to say that you're wrong or whatever. It's just, that's what a debate is. Like, I'm gonna debate my points, you're gonna debate yours.
Yeah, I like that. That's kind of, that you can put that on a quote or something. Put that on the wall. But just want to leave you off with this last one. What, to end it off, what would be like any words of advice or anything you have to say? Because like I told Study, a lot of times some viewers, the audience, they really don't get to see this side of creators sometimes, where they're just like so laid back. They're not in that content create mode. They're just like laid back. So is there like anything you would just like to leave anybody off with?
In terms of what, like creating content?
Creating content, ESBC, anything really.
Um, if not, if you guys are sitting back and watching the content and you feel that you want to be part of content creation, I always I'm always I always tell people to make that leap, to just take that chance. Because when I first started, it felt almost like it was just me and Coach's Corner, but now it's like so many other people. It's you, it's Dark Side, it's King Juice, it's all these people, all these different people. So I'm always super open to more people, and I'm one of those people that I love the community in terms of the content creators to grow. I'm never gonna try to stifle any other content creators. I never see it like I never see my competition in that way where it's like, oh, like the less the better. Like I like the more the merrier, because what ends up happening is, like, I have a vision that ESBC content creation could go as high as NBA 2K content creation. But all you got to do is make sure that you're not gatekeeping, you're letting people make videos, because if that person could get 30,000 views on something, maybe I could get 20,000 views. If that person could get 100,000 views, and then what ends up happening is, even just the way the algorithm works, it actually works in your favor if multiple people are making videos and doing well. Because what happens is, even if this content creator is up here, whatever they build in terms of viewership, it now creates data for the viewers that are watching it to say, whoever's talking about these kind of topics right here, like, we're gonna serve them your video. So now if JMMA makes a video, instead of JMMA getting 500 views, he might now get 1,000 or even 2,000, because a few of those people get served your content, because they know the data told them, yo, they watch this. So then it fuels it. And what happens is that you'll have people that came from you without ever knowing me, for example, and that grows it, because then it bounces it off. So the more people we have talking about ESBC, and ESBC is still young, it's not even out yet. So people still have a chance to start talking about the game and still have that possibility to do well. And at one point, nobody was talking about NBA 2K. It was just a little thing that one content creator said something here and another one here, another one, and then now it's a massive YouTube genre. Just talking about 2K alone. And I think that ESBC could be in that same boat, especially the way boxing is going with YouTube, and boxing is becoming like it's meshing well because of the whole Jake Paul and all this stuff. So my advice to anybody out there, if you're thinking about doing ESBC content and you feel worried because other people are already doing it, I'm telling you, try, go, do it, because it's going to grow the community and it's going to give you an opportunity as well, because the more videos you put, the more information you're giving to the algorithm to tell them that this is the type of topic that you talk about, and that they're going to serve some people from me, some people from JMMA, some people from Dark Side, and then that's how you kind of grow like this ecosystem, and then we all grow together because there's so many people doing it. So that's something that I would say. Don't look at like YouTube competition in a kind of like a tear the building down kind of thing. Just look at it like you doing your own thing. You're always trying to make sure you're bringing the highest quality possible, but you also want to bring up as much people as possible. That's why I always take opportunities to talk about JMMA if it's warranted, or talk about Dark Side, or talk about other content creators. I don't care what size. If you guys are talking about something and it's relevant, I'm always like pushing and pushing and pushing for other people to know you guys as well. But it's because of that. I want, when we all grow, it's good for the entire community.
Yeah, for sure. And Dark Side, I know you probably got something to say. Got anything?
I mean, I think Fanatico put it best. Where, I mean, we've had these discussions with, even on the UFC side of the community, people like Prioxis, yeah, like we always come to like the same type of conclusion where like the more content creators in the space, the better.
Yep.
Trying to build up that community up so everyone can get a piece of the pie, sort of thing. Where like we always mention, like the more people in the space, the more opportunity there is for everybody to grow, and the more it even helps like the games grow, get out to more people, more of the casual audience, for example, too. Get the game out there to more people who might not have known about it before. So I think the community building aspect's always a great thing for any type of game or any type of game community because we want to get as many people involved with it as we can. And of course, when it comes to a game like ESBC, some people might think is only going to be like catered to like the hardcore, like the people who really really know boxing. But I want people to understand is like we're trying to make the game accessible for everyone, not just hardcore boxing fans, but as well as people who want to casually play it to have fun as well, not just the hardcore. So.
There's a lot of people that love Fight Night that don't never watch one boxing fight a day in their life because they just like the concept of a boxing video game because it's intriguing. Boxing video games are intriguing to people even if they don't watch boxing. So that's why I think that ESBC has such a big potential. A lot of people think, oh nah, but look, people only getting this many views. But it's like my channel is only what 20,000, almost 20,000 subscribers. Like is disproportionate. So there's something there that's bubbling under the surface. You know what I mean? Like how can I have 20,000 subscribers, make a video that gets almost 260,000 views within just like a month? There's something there that's bubbling, and I think that it's gonna explode. And as long as you guys are like riding that coattail like all together, I think that there's gonna be so much potential for growth. And then when the game is out, just like I'm telling you, I have a feeling that it's gonna end up like the 2K, literally as big as the 2K community, where you could reach 1 million subscribers. You could reach all of these things because there's an ecosystem that's been built there. And like 2K, no one was watching 2K content at one point until people started it. And I think that this is what's happening with ESBC. But the fact that the numbers are disproportionate tells me there's a bigger story that we don't even know that's going to happen later on. Simply from like just that bubble, you could feel it. It's like a bubbling that's happening with this game. And it's simply because people just don't know about it. But when like most people don't know about it, but once it's out, it's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap. So I would definitely recommend anybody, if you're thinking about starting to do videos on it, start doing videos on it right now. So you could be there, but before it takes off to the moon or whatever.
I think that was a great way to leave a message for everybody. But like with everybody we interview, their links will be down below in the description. So if you want to go follow Fanatico on Twitter, or if you have not seen any of Fanatico's content, which if you haven't, come on now, man. Links will be down below in the description. And also our Twitter link will be down below in the description, live updates and things of that nature. But until next time, it has been JMMA Darkside and Boxing Fanatico, and we will see y'all next time.